I feel like that this whole problem with writing, because I'm doing another paper I'm working on, is not facing enough the real responsibility of writers and artists, and that is the protection of Indigenous knowledge. I don't know if you've seen some of these attacks that's being made on that, where I think there's non-native writers going around saying, oh, Indians are just pretending they have a culture. You know, they don't even know what they're talking about. They're just Stone Age people. So we've got a new attack about that, and it is in academia. It's not just in the general public. So again, we have to, I guess, deal with that. I'm in the process of writing a memoir, so I guess this is why my thoughts are sort of spanning, you know, the years in a way. I think that I would like to see a lot more Native people teaching literature. I find it sad that the idea of you know, literature does not include that it should be decolonized. So again, we have a lot of problems with the kind of literature that's being taught, and I don't know. I think we should sort of incorporate it into a kind of a world literature, not just Canadian literature, like it was like a little cousin of some Canadian writer or something. For the second one, which said, what is Canadian institutions, like what are they doing to preserve or develop Indigenous culture? I had one word, not. So obviously there must be a, you know, must be a cynical view, right? However, for me, I haven't seen too much. I went up to Thompson again recently, and they are trying to set up a house of stories there, where they will be able to, you know, tell stories in their language, and then kind of want it out in the bush too, so they don't necessarily want to be right on campus. But I was quite surprised when I said to them, you might have to watch out for the university. University has been a bit of a predator these days. In fact, a lot of Native studies programs are going to be held in quite an examination at a conference I'm going to in Minnesota in May. They feel they're like, the old trick is first you say, oh, Indians, come over here, we've got something for you to do. And then you put in Métis writers, right? Because they have the brown color. But then after that, you conveniently substitute non-natives then to teach. So that's been their pattern. So I was telling the elders there, maybe we should watch them this time. We've gone through the fur trade already, so why do we have to be treating our works of art and writing as if it's a piece of fur that we're handing into them, and they're going to give us money for it? So I guess I would be considered already. Time to go back to Manitoba, right? Oh, okay, wait, sorry. I sort of said more like, I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad to be on you know, your territory for a little while. Anyway, I am, well, I'm just passing through, so what can I say, right? You don't have to worry about me. But again, you know, the problem with appropriation is it's still going on, only our own people are doing it. So that's still an interesting, you know, way to look at it. And problem with that is they take up space that could be, you know, again, devoted to actual storytellers. I have no problem with our people being storytellers, and I don't think we've even got to the stories yet that need to be told. So again, I differ in that. I think there's some real research that we must do to find, you know, the stories that will be helpful and healing to our people. I know little boys up in the northern part of Canada, I was saying to them, you know, hey, I don't have to teach a macho version of creation. And I had found a really cool story for them. And also was teaching the Rolling Head story from a different perspective, that it had to do with gender imbalance. So again, you know, little boys need that. They see all this violence in their homes. They want to know, how do I grow up to be a respectful man? And I think that our stories can teach them that. So I guess with literature, we don't have enough reviews being done by our people, not enough critical work being done. And I guess in terms of dissemination, I'd like to see more films and video, because a lot of our people actually don't read books and they don't like them, but they love visual images. And so why do we have to be saying, oh, it's got to be in a book, or it's got to be a novel, or it's got to be this or that, when film and video can also really reach our people. In fact, one of the elders in Thompson said that he has trouble even storytelling because some of the younger people don't have the visual images that they can relate to in the story. So he's thinking of being able to introduce that when he's storytelling. Again, this use of the truth and reconciliation business that was supposed to happen, that could have been useful for us if we could have infiltrated as writers. Had all this money in that, and then I don't know what they're going to do with it. Elijah Harper was speaking in Winnipeg, and he belittled it as saying it was just a gathering of stories, because it didn't have a mandate to really help the people who were going to come out and say what happened to them. So I feel, kind of sad that it's going to be very hard for us to impact, on that kind of thing, which was supposed to redress the loss of our elders, the loss of our culture and traditions. So I found out this woman I was helping last year, she was kind of homeless, she was a writer, and then I found out she's living in a better place than I am now. What? So then, this is when I come up with my other thing is, we have to have housing for our writers. Because that's, she's a writer and she's getting on with her writing now, and she's got a really decent place to stay. So I thought, why not? Why not have something for artists and writers? Why does it always have to be like you have to have, it has to be laying on the street, with your old sniff rag or something before anybody wants to help you? What about investing in some of our artists in that? And our people do have problems maintaining, safe housing and that. So I guess with my problem again with the university is they have a low accountability, and they seem to have a lack of cultural diversity when they're looking at teaching English. And they certainly have messed up on equal opportunity. I think I've been hearing about across the board, North America, Native people are not getting tenure. They've got all the credentials, they're not getting tenure, and then there's ones that are not even moving along in their own department. So back to academia, even though it has its problems, I still think we need more scholarships for our writers, and more of these gigs they call writer in residence. But again, my favorite, because I'm into retribution, And one of them is, I wouldn't mind anthropologists cleaning up their act a bit. Like, why must we come, as if we're cleaning up some kitty litter, Why is it our job? They've got the degrees, they've got the money, even the retired ones, put them back on the job and correct some of the errors about our people.
More.
So actually we do then need, indigenous research, where we are working in a cooperative way, I guess, with them. Although I keep thinking of myself as a dominatrix. Okay, dig. Sorry, I go places.